How nice is it to have a quarterback? That is something that the Titans can finally say after the hurdles of Vince Young and Jake Locker and going through Matt Hasselbeck and all the missteps, Zach Mettenberger. Marcus Mariota is the unquestioned leader of this team. He is unquestionably healthy heading into this season, which is great to see and to know. And that's not the case everywhere in the NFL by any means. The Browns today named Deshaun Kaiser their starting quarterback for week 3 of the preseason, making that trade for Brock Osweiler look all the more like a bust before he even plays a regular season game for Cleveland. The Bears, who are coming to town this weekend for the 3rd preseason game here. Mike Glennon, who they signed, I think it was $28 million, signed to come from Tampa, where he was the backup, to make him the guy, by the way, with no real effort to try to keep Jay Cutler in football. Mike Glennon became their guy, and then they drafted Mitch Trubisky 2nd overall after paying him all that much money. Well, Glennon's going to start on Sunday, but Trubisky's going to play, and he's going to play with the first team. And you could sense it already with the Chicago media after practice today talking about a quarterback controversy for the Bears. Tom Savage in Houston with the Texans. He's the starter. I'll put money on the fact that Deshaun Watson's going to be playing and probably going to be the starter when the Titans go down to Houston in week 4. I just do not believe in Tom Savage. And apparently the Jags finally don't believe in Blake Bortles, because they've named Chad Henne the starter for their 3rd preseason game tomorrow night against Carolina, which maybe signals the beginning of the end of the Bortles era in Jacksonville. That roster continues to get better, but I've said it for a while. As long as Blake Bortles is the starting quarterback of the Jaguars, the Jags have no chance. And maybe now they've kind of figured it out. Doug Marrone, the head coach there. New management, Tom Coughlin is the GM. Maybe they finally figured that out, because he will not start that all-important 3rd preseason game tomorrow night. So if you're the Titans, you look around the division and you look at Tom Savage in Houston, Blake Bortles now out, Chad Henne in Jacksonville, and Andrew Luck coming off major shoulder surgery with a rough-looking roster around him. You got to feel pretty darn good about the roster you have in place and the guys you've put around Marcus Mariota, who you believe is the next young, great quarterback in the National Football League. His numbers last year, over 3,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, just 9 interceptions. Those are the type of numbers that make you believe that he can lead you to really good things. And we talked to Marcus Mariota after practice today about his growth now in year 3 as a quarterback in the NFL.
Marcus, going into your 3rd year, is there anything particularly that you've maybe set that you want to improve on? You've talked about footwork and a little bit more freedom you're getting at the line, but for you personally, is it, do you set numbers or comfort level, anything like that? For me, it's consistency. I want to play at a high level all year. I thought last season, for me personally, started a little slow. So I just want to start good, start on a high note, and just kind of keep it throughout the year. Going into your 3rd year, how much comfortable maybe everywhere are you feeling than even a year ago? Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable. It just comes down to the day in and day out activities. You kind of know what to expect. You're in a situation where you're familiar with everything. It's the 2nd year into the offense. Doing all these things. So I think all in all, I think everyone in the locker room is getting more comfortable and understands the culture we're building. And for me, it's nice to be a part of that and to feel comfortable coming to work.
Well, it's preseason game number 3. Presumably, you'll get your most playing time of the preseason. How eager are you for that?
That's a great opportunity. For us, it's all the hard work that we put in training camp. We get to go out there and hopefully just show everybody what we've been able to do. Put together good drives, score points, and just build upon hopefully that foundation that's going to make us successful this year.
Mike was talking about the fact that good chance you'll play through the half and maybe come out at the start of the 3rd quarter. To get into kind of a routine back to what it's going to really be like on regular season Sundays, how important is that? Yeah, it is important. For me, it's been a while. Really for all of us, it's been a while to play an entire half, play all the scenarios out, to play all the situations. So this weekend, it's a great opportunity for us
to kind of get ready and make sure we're comfortable going into week 1.
What is it that you personally want to accomplish in this game?
It's the same week in and week out. Score points. Build a rhythm as an offense. Don't turn over the ball, and just make the most of every single drive.
Have you found it appears sometimes when things don't go well that you're off to the right in some way, shape, or form? Have you found anything there that you've worked on that would fix that? Do you think that there's periodically an issue thrown that way?
Well, I think anytime I get inaccurate, it starts with my feet. And, those are things that I'm working on in practice, things that I worked on during the offseason. So, again, everything I kind of keep saying is consistency. If I can have solid footwork in the pocket, play in and play out, I think I can be accurate with the football and do what I need to do.
Is it in any way more difficult to manage your footwork, or have you made more mistakes with your footwork when you're throwing to the right?
Not necessarily. Honestly, if anything's inaccurate, I just kind of look back at the play and see what kind of went wrong. A lot of times it is footwork. So for me, this offseason, I did a lot of things to just kind of simplifying my footwork and making sure, every route concept, I have a certain footwork that I need to do, and for me, it's work.
How is it that you did that while coming back, from a pretty serious leg injury? Concentrate on your footwork.
Well, I had to wait till I could do stuff physically, so I didn't do it right away. Really kind of was toward the end of the off season that I was able to kind of focus on my footwork.
How's Tajay been, and how good is it to have him back, and how's he been last couple of days?
It's great. It's great to have him back. I think he's a vital part of this offense. So for us to have him, go in and build rhythm, build the chemistry that is needed for the season, I think is very important.
What's it help you? I know you like to have Decker, like to have Corey, like to have other guys out there all the time, but to develop chemistry with all these receivers, how much has that helped you during the course of the last couple of weeks?
I think it's critical. I think, throughout the season, it's a long year. At time in and time out, you're going to have to play with different guys, and that's just the nature of the game. So to be able to build the chemistry in training camp with every single receiver, I think is important.
How's a guy like Harry done in this camp? A lot of new faces in that receiver room, and he's the guy who's been here for a little bit. How's he looked this camp to you?
I think he's done a great job. He's brought along these young guys. He's kind of that coach on the field for these guys. So when Harry's asked to do something, he's more than able to. He's made plays for us. Going back to even the first preseason game, he caught a few balls, and I think to have a guy like him in the room, along with Eric, is huge for the young guys, and he's a very vital part of this team.
He's pretty vocal and pretty competitive out here on the practice field. What's he like in the huddle?
Same, and that's what for us. I think that's what drives us, and to have a guy like that, to push the guys around us to make everyone better is important. It really just kind of builds into our culture.
Mike was saying he expects to mark up to get some time. How important just getting some reps with him in a game-like situation? How important is that going to be for you guys this week?
I think when you have a starter coming back, it's important that they get in the groove, get in the feel. Anytime you have every single guy out there on offense, it's huge because you have an opportunity to get better as a unit. So to have DeMarco back will be good for us, and we're looking forward to him to make some plays.
We didn't talk to you, I guess, since the Eclipse Day on Monday. What do you remember about that day?
It was the Eclipse was crazy, man. It was a pretty cool experience. Fun to be a part of it, with the guys. Nothing I've ever seen in my life. So to be able to spend it with these guys and to enjoy it here was a lot of fun. It was a cool experience.
Marcus, it's been said that more's been put on your plate this year. What's the biggest thing that you think has been added?
When it comes down to it, just putting our team in the best situations, making play calls that'll allow these guys to just play to the best of their abilities. I learned a lot from J. Mike and Coach Rubisky and Coach Malarkey, and for me, I just want to be able to put that on the field and just really put our team in the best situations.
How much of a freedom is that? Are you checking out of something unfavorable into something that in that situation would be favorable? Is it like a two-option thing, or is it a...
Yeah, at times. You talk about certain scenarios through the course of camp, through the course of an off season. What certain runs or what certain passes work against certain coverages and fronts, and you know, if you get this certain look, you know, maybe this is something that you can get to. So those are all things that we talk, you know, throughout the offseason, through this camp time. And, you know, for me, I'm very lucky. I'm able to learn from these guys, and they've really made it easy for me to go out there on the field and to do that.
You have the freedom to make that change anytime, most of the time, some of the time?
Yeah, just whenever, I mean, whatever is going on the field, if the coaches, you know, for me, they tell me just if I see some, just to go out there and to do what they think or what I think is best.
Mike was raving a little bit about Derrick Henry earlier. What have you seen from him in year 2?
Man, physically, that guy's special. You know, I think he comes to practice, puts in their effort, puts in the hard work that's needed. You know, he's made plays in the preseason, you know, even dating the back last year, and to have a guy like that in the backfield is going to be very important for us as the season goes on. I think he's going to be one of those types of guys that can make plays.
Who are the young guys or newcomers in the secondary who kind of surprise you or stand out to you in any way?
I think all those guys. I mean, Sif, Logan, you know, even the young guy, Dory. You know, those guys have done a great job of making it hard on us in practice. I think back and forth we're making each other better, and that's what's important.
Marcus, making checks at the line, is that something that you've had before, whether in college, high school? And if so, is it nice to be able to have that again, if you had, or is it the first time you've had this much freedom this season?
I did a little bit of it in college. You know, I think as you go through, you know, the system, the offensive system, and as you get more comfortable with it, it starts to open up a little more. So, you know, for me, I think to be able to have the opportunity to go out on the field and be able to put the team hopefully in the best situations, I think is great. And it's a great learning tool for me to do it even on the practice field, so that when it does come down to crunch time and I do have to make a certain call or a certain check, I'm able to do it.